rideshare driver that drives for Uber and Lyft. Joe currently uses multiple phones to efficiently drive for Uber and Lyft. But this can be a pain at times and very unsafe. That was until Joe found Maximo, the rideshare app that automates Uber and Lyft ride requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and passenger rating, to determine which rides are best suited for Joe. When a ride request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will automatically accept the ride request that matches his filters, and then turn off the app that isn't currently on a ride. Once Joe finishes the ride, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to focus more on his passengers and driving safe.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you doing? It's Thursday night, and it's roundtable night. And I'm glad everybody could join us, as always. Always having a good time here. We do not have Hannibal the Great tonight. However, we do have, did I get it right? Yes. Kim from Kim's Side Money. Gary from Middleton Tech. And Nova Dasher from Nova Dasher.
What's up?
Nova Dasher, thank you for coming on the channel. I don't use people's real names unless they're cool with using it, so I'll let you give us a little bit of a background and intro on you, and then kind of I'll jump in.
Sure. So my name is Marco, but I go by the Nova Dasher because my area is known as Nova, Northern Virginia. So I'm basically in like the greater DMV area here near DC, and I mainly do DoorDash videos for the most part, a little bit of Grubhub, but that's basically my bread and butter.
Okay, so yes, Thomas, that's a haircut. Might as well just get it out of the way.
Thomas, we was making fun of him. Don't worry. I got you back on that, Thomas. Took care of it before the show.
Yeah, my son and I got haircuts today. We look awesome, so that's all I got to say.
He's getting ready for the gig conference is what it is. He's getting ready for the gig conference.
Well, I'm getting ready, dude. I had some pretty nasty. Gary, you saw it. I mean, I think it was. I don't even remember who it was. It was Freestyle or Nico or something. Was like it was one of the ones where I had it fully down. And I was talking to David actually from Para when that went down, and he was like, or she said, Steve looks exactly like Willie Nelson today. And I had that big beard going, and I was like, okay, dude, it is nothing against Willie Nelson, but I'm like, that's time to do so. Like, she can't even identify me anymore. So, anyway, beyond my hair.
And it's Nico. It's Nico, by the way.
What did I say, Nico?
Nico. Yeah, it's Nico.
Yeah. What's up, Pia? What's up, Thomas? What's up? Let me see who else is in here. Wait, that's grinding all gigs with Levi. I don't think I've seen that person. Oh, he says hi to Nova, so that's not me. I think I know. What's up?
Yeah, we always talk all the time.
Yeah, somebody posted that he better have a football shirt on or something like that.
The Deadskins. Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you're a big football fan.
Jerry does DoorDash. What is it? Gosh, I can't even say this one. Gary, you got this one.
Kim?
Supine
Calumet?
I think it's Supine Calumet, maybe. I don't know.
There we go. There we go. I like that.
Yeah,
unless we hear otherwise, we will be going with that.
So we're just going to say, sup.
Sup. And Gigan Zeta. Gig in Great North. That's sure that is. What's up, Sensei? Hey, by the way, Sensei, thank you for all the help with getting that game show together. It actually got pushed 2 weeks, but I have that thing dialed now, and I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you for your help.
I was right. Yeah.
Okay. What was sup?
Yeah.
Very like me, right?
Okay, so there's definitely some things going on this week. And even though some of it is kind of old news, even like I'll give an example is that Hannibal sent me a text saying, hey, I just saw this stuff about the Uber files and it's funny because you literally told me about all of this stuff 8 months ago. And I have been reporting on this for 8 months, and it's kind of crazy. But before we go there into the dark space for a minute, what up, Flex? Kim, what have you been talking about all week that's kind of a deal?
It's actually a big deal in the DoorDash world. So if you've been kind of under a rock for the past like couple of days, if not, you probably already know about it. But DoorDash glitched. I think it was like last Thursday, so probably about a week ago, that it wasn't charging customers the price of what they were ordering, and people were figuring it out, and they were spreading it viral through like Twitter and TikTok, and people were racking up some pretty big bills, like $17,000 worth of liquor. One person did, I think, like $11,000 of chicken nuggets from McDonald's, which is just wacky to me. But we're talking like millions. I think they lost like $42 million during this glitch, and now DoorDash is trying to recover the money that they lost during this glitch. So it's been a whole huge debate. Should these people, should they pay the money back? Should they not pay the money back? Should they have even gotten to the point where they ordered $17,000 worth of liquor? So that's been like the biggest debate in like the DoorDash world this past week.
Yeah, I gotta say that humanity, I'm not gonna lean on the side of humanity here. I don't think that they're gonna do the right thing. And if anybody has any past with DoorDash, I really think they're gonna go out of their way to do not the right thing. But it's not like people are gonna be going, you know what? I took advantage of the system. I abused it and got a bunch of free liquor. You're right. Here's your money. Because they already decided to be bad.
What do you think? Well, you said you don't think DoorDash is going to do the right thing. What do you think the right thing for DoorDash to do in this situation is?
No. I mean like all the people that got all this stuff.
Okay. The way you worded it made you sound like DoorDash was the issue.
Nobody's going to come back and say, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to come back and say, you know what? My
so
bad.
you don't think the
customers
are going to do the right thing?
I don't even think double digits will do the right thing.
Well, here's the fine.
Because
I looked it up.
They already did the wrong thing.
I looked it up, and no matter what, if you use a card that is expired or non-existent or whatever, and or there's no money on there, and you purposely use it and it goes through, they consider that credit card fraud. It's a felony.
Sure.
Yeah. And so all these people that racked up, $11,000 worth of chicken nuggets or whatever that was, they're facing felonies.
But let's face it,
but are they? Because most judges would love to just hand it to these companies and go, you know what? We're sick of your algorithms. You know what? You're going to eat it on this, and we don't care.
No, because
you know what?
Like
59 million people with Uber got hacked. You think the judges care about these companies anymore?
Well, it's not about that. It's about if the DA in that state or whatever wants to prosecute, because they pay fines to the state, and we all know state is about money.
So they pay fines to them. Many states are going to the side of let's kill these companies.
States are greedy, though.
I think these people who did this didn't think about the consequences. I think they just thought about, I'm getting free stuff, not realizing the consequences that they were doing it. Like, they knew what they were doing was wrong. They just didn't think about the consequences, that what happens if these companies come back and go after me for $17,000 or $11,000. I think one was like $3,000. Like, I don't think people understood.
Wasn't the booze one $17,000?
Yeah, the booze one was $17,000.
That one I would think, that guy has some explaining to do.
And from a door, like we were talking about this, and the biggest thing is some of these, like even the people who got the stuff for free, tip zero to the driver. So can you imagine like pulling up and getting like this order? I'm making this up. If it's a no tip order and it went from driver to driver to driver, say it went up to $5 going like a mile, and you took it, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, we have like God only knows 35 bags of chicken nuggets to give you. Like,
I have a question. Has DoorDash put up any statements on this, like officially?
No, they
I
won't.
haven't.
They
They
won't. Their legal team will not allow them to do that. Their PR team won't allow them to do that. What I believe might happen is if DoorDash right now is probably filing with their insurance company, and they're going to see if their insurance company is going to cover any of this. If their insurance company goes, okay, yeah, we'll cover it, then they're probably just going to, let it slide. If not, then what they might do is maybe reach out to states or send it to the DAs in those states and see if the state wants to prosecute those people.
But when does DoorDash be held accountable for the stuff that is happening? That's what I want to know. Like, we're talking about the people. Yeah, they're wrong for ordering $17,000 worth of liquor. But when does DoorDash be held accountable?
Wait. Hold on, Steve. Hold on, Steve. Hold on.
Okay,
hold on.
But I got something I got to add here.
I know. Hold on. Because she said that. What in this situation? What do you think DoorDash is accountable for?
Well, I think that they did a glitch that cost them millions of dollars that are now like people. I don't know. I just feel like
but that's not DoorDash's fault that people did
not
fraud. Well, I'm saying it's not directly DoorDash's fault. They didn't release a statement saying, "Hey." They didn't release a statement saying, "Hey, our system screwed up. Scam us. Use fake credit cards. Use expired credit cards." Like, they didn't release that.
But
they had a glitch
by this constant TOS update.
That's like you accidentally leaving your credit card on a counter, and then 7-Eleven go, "Oh, well, she left it here. Ching, ching, ching." So that's your fault that you left it there.
Everybody everything.
Yeah, it is my fault. I left it there.
Here's what I did have to say. Okay, if they called me and they said, "Hey, listen," and I already knew about this. Obviously, most of the people that knew about it got on there and said, I'm going to order 10,000 nuggets because this crap's free, and said, whatever. Okay, you know what I'd say? I ordered a 10-piece nugget. I don't have any clue why the guy brought me 10,000.
And it said $0 on there, so I just assumed.
Well, I'd be like, I don't know. I figured I had some credit for all the times they ripped me off.
Well, I could see
or send
some
me the wrong
them,
food, or the one
$17,000 worth of alcohol,
my dirt, or the guy who peed in my water. I don't know, man.
I think you could have gotten away with it if people weren't so greedy and said, "Okay, I'm gonna order from like an expensive steakhouse and get like a porterhouse steak and like mashed potatoes, and like I just spent like $100 on like a meal because it looks like you actually did a legit order." Like, I think people could have like not been greedy and just gotten a really good dinner and say, "Hey, got a free dinner." But people went,
and so, yeah, I think it could have went on longer if people would have been sensible about it. Order 1 or 2 meals. Like, the chances of DoorDash catching that right away has been
the other big problem was they put it on it. And I know that everybody knows about all social platforms. But Gary, you probably even know this. No, you probably know this about Twitter. When something like that gets put on Twitter, it goes quick, and they put it on Twitter. Like, it went viral a few different times on Twitter, and that made it big right there.
No. Now let's ask Nova this. Nova, did you order during the glitch?
No, I did not. Honestly, I wasn't even working when it happened.
If you knew it was happening and fine to do it, would you have?
No.
Okay.
I actually have never really used DoorDash to order food. I'm more of an Uber person.
Okay.
So
see, and Gary's claiming to be a saint over there. But we all know from past episodes, Gary only uses Grubhub to order, so he wouldn't have even known.
Yeah, I would have never known. I use Grubhub. I don't know what to tell you people.
You know what I do wonder?
But I got Amazon Prime, so I get Grubhub Plus for free.
Have you used it?
Yeah, I used it.
No, through the Prime app.
Yeah. I synced it. It was last Thursday that I used it because I wanted to see. What?
So
I still need to do that.
So what? I'm curious. When you sync it that you're agreeing to the terms? Because I kept thinking about this, dude. There's no way that Amazon has ever put on a thing where after a year you're going to be charged anything other than an Amazon fee once a year.
What was crazy is I had to search for it. Like it didn't pop up in my Grubhub app. It popped up on my driver app, but not my customer app. And then it didn't pop up on my Amazon app. And so I was like, I Googled it. And then you had to go to a special Amazon link and then, sign up, and it takes you to Grubhub and it does all that stuff. But it's not like you open it up and it's right there in front of your face.
Right. And that's what I was wondering. So somehow during that process is where you agreed that after this year you'll pay.
Yeah, well, it tells you on there wherever you do it. It says free for a year, then I think it's $9.99 a month after, blah 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 blah. And immediately once I hit accept or whatever, I told my Alexa device, remind me in 362 days to cancel Grubhub Plus.
Does Alexa do that?
Yeah, she does.
It's too bad you just can't tell Alexa to do it.
I know.
Hey,
right?
Alexa, turn off my auto pay in 362 days. I mean, I hate auto pay, dude. I really do. I think auto pay. I think by definition, auto pay should demand that people opt into it, not out of it.
See, that's how my apps work. Kinda.
So your apps just stop. The free version just stops working, and people get pissed. And then you got.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you sign up for like Maximo, for example, when you sign up, it does turn on auto billing, but the free trial of it just ends. Period. And then you got to sign up. I don't make you put in a credit card for any of the free trial stuff. So, but once you do sign up, it is auto pay right off the bat because people forget to enable it, and then they email me saying, "Hey, I paid, blah blah blah. Why is it not taking my money?" And then I look it up, and they didn't have it enabled, so it's just more hassle. Nova, which platform do you order off of?
Uber.
Why?
Yeah, because on my job they gave us like a free like $100 gift card or something for Uber, and I just signed up for like Uber One. It's technically still free, so I need to go check on that and cancel it before they charge me. But yeah, I mean, I use a lot of Uber stuff too, so I like Uber.
See, that was our point last Thursday that we was talking about with the Amazon Grubhub thing. Is people will use it because it's free. Nova just said he used Uber just because it's free. Reason. Yeah.
I mean, I've used Grubhub here in my hometown, and my order never got here. There's no drivers for Grubhub. Even when I go online, there's no orders. So I feel like even if people do place the order, no one's going to bring it to you. You know? So I don't know how that's going to. I think Grubhub is still going to be third place regardless of what they do.
I don't know.
Or at least until Amazon buys them.
But in my area this past week.
Grubhub?
Jelly.
Yeah, see, I do Grubhub every day. That's my favorite platform to work. It's my favorite app to order off of.
So I gotta ask Nova. You're in Virginia. I saw a video. I think it was just a couple days ago of yours that was like a 14-hour shift, and like the picture. The picture that you use, the thumbnail is like you sleeping in the car.
Oh yeah, man.
And I'm just curious, man. 14 hours are brutal days. I know this. Oh yeah, Kim knows this. We all know this. So I mean, how bad is a bad 14-hour day for you?
I mean, I think I still made.
Is that and follow up? Is that something in your market that happens often or lately, or how is your market like?
So this week has been kind of different. It's a little bit slower than it normally is. I mean, I normally don't work 14 hours straight. You know, that was like an outlier. Yeah. Okay. But once I got offline and I looked at the driver utility app, I'm like, wow, I was online for like 14 hours, but active was only like 5 or 6. You know, and I realized that because I watched a lot of Netflix because I have an iPad in my car. So whenever I'm not doing anything, I'll either watch something or just be on YouTube or whatever. And I was like, wow, I spent a lot of time sitting here not doing anything, you know? And I thought about going home, but then where I dash, it's like 20 minutes from my house. And I'm like, I don't want to drive 20 minutes and come back out another 20 minutes. So I'm just going to ride it out, you know? And as long as I got a couple of orders, you know, I was kind of just grinding through it, but it wasn't as busy as it normally is. So it was definitely an outlier, but I was literally like, I took a nap and I have like my little like headphone or whatever. And, driver utility helper app, and it basically makes my phone vibrate. So I'm like, I took a solid 45-minute nap. Nothing came in for like, you know, a couple hours, but it was rough.
Yeah. I mean, so is that at all? I mean, I don't know. Is that how is your market? Is the follow up, I guess, like on a norm, or is I don't use summer slowdown. I know Pedro's in
Mhm.
here. What's up, Pedro? I know that he talks about summer slowdown, and other some people do and whatnot. And I know that there are areas that don't do as well in the summer, but there are areas that do better in the summer. So I think it
Yeah.
all balances out. But like
Well,
for you,
I think it was yesterday or the day before that I declined like almost 300 orders. And there's people that are like, wow, I never even get 100 offers. And I'm like, I get that, but I get a lot of bad orders. And I'd rather sit there and watch Netflix or watch YouTube than do a bad order. If it's like
Yeah.
550 for like 1 mile, maybe. But I could be getting 375s, 10 miles, like all these bad orders. And I'm like, what is going on? Like people don't want to tip, then I'm not moving. I'm just not. So the quantity is there, but the quality isn't all that great. And then if I get offline, the DoorDash map is telling me it's busy, and I know the drivers in my area, and I'm like, hey man, it's so dead. Or like one time we parked next to each other, and he would get something, then I would get it, and then it would just increase by like 25 cents, or not increase at all. And I'm like, look at this garbage, and we were just comparing back and forth all these bad orders. So I think I'm in a good market, but I don't want to say cherry pick. I don't think that's the right word, because for me, if I see a 625 3 miles, I'll do it. That to me, it's a good order. They're tipping. It's not going that far. But I see drivers that are like, oh, I don't move for like $10 or less. I'm like, then you must not move at all. I've never see offers like that, $10. Like, but I think I'm in a good market. It's just the cost of living is crazy high here, like it is, I'm sure, in other places. But it's definitely not as easy as it used to be, I guess.
Not as easy as it used to be to earn the same amount in the same amount of hours.
Right. Like even though I think I declined almost 300 orders, I still completed 18, and I think that was a decent amount of orders. 18 orders.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, but I still declined like 300 orders, almost 300 orders.
That's like a flex day. It's like exactly what Flex does, right? I mean, Gary, you know all their stats.
I didn't even think. I wish I would have emailed him and got his email address so I could see exactly how many declines he had this year so far.
Yeah, he can pull up flexes, so Gary can quote flexes. Like, well, he just declined this many yesterday. So it's But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some markets claim the slowdown. Some markets claim that, like Kim does better in the summer. I do just as good in the summer, if not better, too. I mean, like I'll definitely say this. There's never a day in the summer where it's worse. Never. So, and I live in Colorado where people come to vacation in the winter too. So, but people come in the summer too, and it's just crazy. But
it's funny that you mentioned that. Today was actually probably my worst day. I think I got on for like almost 7 hours and barely made like $90. And I was just like, wow, I've never seen it this slow. But everybody in my area and even people in my Discord, I'm like, oh man, it's so slow today. And I'm like, well, at least it's not just me. I'm over there refreshing the app like every 2 seconds, and I'm like, okay, well, at least it's a bad day. You take an L from time to time, call it a day, no problem. Tomorrow's a new day, kind of thing.
Well, see, what I don't think a lot of people are understanding either is starting August, school starts back up. So a lot of parents will be starting to school shop at this time.
True that.
Yeah. But right now, actually, people are traveling a lot too. Yeah, I mean, they're like out of state, they're gone. But you would think that even if they're gone, they're still using those kind of services. They stay with people, they go to hotels,
yeah, that's what happens in my area.
You want to go out. Sometimes you want to go out, and you want to try everything. But with the way things have been, like a lot of people don't want to go out to every meal when they're out now. Like they just want it brought to them, and then they want to go out and have their fun day.
Friday's my biggest day. Friday's always my biggest day, just because of my touristy area. They come on Friday night and they don't feel like cooking. So they usually do any one of the 3 apps because they don't feel like cooking. And then they'll go out either like Saturday and then, come back on Sunday or Monday because they usually take like long weekends. But that's usually kind of the pattern of like my area since I'm in like a beach area. But summer slow down. It ramps up. It doesn't slow down.
Yeah. And I was going to say, there was I think, I want to say that like, for me, it was like, it's just become stabilized and good for the curry stuff. I've actually been mixing back in a little bit of shipped again, but not as much, still staying with curry. But I want to say that in like April, May, when curry was hot, I want to say like May, June, everybody was complaining about, earnings being down. But lately I've been talking to a lot of gig workers who their earnings aren't as down now. Like I feel like unlike Nova Dasher, who just said he had the worst day, today or yesterday kind of thing. But like other than that, like overall, I've heard people saying like it was horrible and it's coming around a bit.
Yeah, but for me, I've changed my mentality a lot. Like I'm looking at like monthly goals, so it's not really an hourly thing. If I can do 200 a day, it doesn't matter how I get there, as long as I get there, kind of thing. But I know there's other people that are the opposite. I'm like, I want to make $25 an hour. And like, you can't do that every hour. You just can't.
See, I've always based my earnings off of daily or weekly, never hourly.
Exactly.
Because I mean, there might be times that I sit at home for 2 hours doing stuff around my house or whatever. And then, I'll get a $30 order. Okay, I'll go do it real quick, come back.
But I think it's market based because I do all three. I do hourly, I do daily, and I do weekly. I think it depends on your market. It keeps me on track, but I'm a numbers and goal oriented person. Like I need to know I'm achieving 25 plus an hour in order to achieve my 200 plus goal per day. So to me, I'm a hourly, daily, weekly person. Just it keeps me on track and it keeps me okay. I need
But you set a time frame that you work though, correct?
Yes.
See, yeah, I think that's probably the difference. Me, I don't care if I work from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. as long as I make my 200. But you have a schedule, you have kids, things of that nature. So you want to get home to them so you can do all that kid stuff.
Yeah, mine is all about how can I make the most amount of money for the shortest amount of time that I possibly can and still get home and be a mom and continue on my day and do everything else that I need to do.
I'm right there with you, Kim. I would do the same thing. In fact, I would pull it in any metric I can, but that's just I relate it to the bartender part of me. You know what I mean? Like I want to know, okay, yeah, what am I pulling daily? What am I pulling weekly? The weekly is the big one. You need to know that that's at least workable, that's a workable number. We can go from there and that's your par. You can do better, you can do worse, and then you make up for it or whatever. But daily becomes important. But I even think that beyond the daily, I think the hourly is huge in mattering because if I come home and even if I break all of my week into 4-hour shifts that I'll work gigs, if I decide that like, okay, well, wait, Tuesday 4 to 8, I made $90. And if I break down the hourly, wait a minute, I'm really low and I like to be around 30. It's probably better for me to take that 4-hour block and move it somewhere else in the week and better spend that 4 hours. Even if maybe it means I get Tuesday off from 4 to 8 and then I just take the night off and then I replace it into a Saturday for an extra 4 hours. I'm just saying sometimes a block needs to be moved. It's like the pivoting between apps.
Well, here's my question then for you guys that do it by hourly. If you don't hit your daily goal, do you continue to work or do you go home?
I'm out to make my goal.
I mean, it for Rideshare and me, it would depend. And that's where most of my experience with using that kind of par system is. And that would depend, because I might just go, I might just know this night's done. And I could even ask other rideshare drivers later, hey, how'd you end up doing? I went home at 9. Dude, I made crap the rest of the night. You were so lucky to go home then, kind of thing. Like, it's like, nothing like.
I just don't believe in, leaving money on the table. Like, I'm the type of person that if it's like 9, 10 o'clock at night and orders are still coming in, I'm going to keep going because I'm not going to give up the money that's out there.
No, what I'm saying is like I know typically you work during the day, Kim, right?
No, I work at night.
Too. Always night?
Yeah.
Okay. But say it's 10 o'clock at night and you're not hitting $25 an hour like you want, and you have a daily goal of $200.
Mm-hmm.
How close is she?
Let's say she's at 120 out of 200 and it's 10 o'clock at night. Are you going to
So
continue
she's been working
working?
for 8
I'll be
hours. She's
honest,
only at
that's never happened.
120.
Well, I'm just throwing out scenarios here.
The worst kind of scenarios.
Kim's
You know,
better than
happened,
that,
I'll be
Gary. How
honest.
dare you say that?
It's
Don't
never
talk that
happened.
way to her.
If it was like, I just don't leave money on the table. Like if I'm at like 100, nothing's worse than being like 10 o'clock at night, and that's usually my that's my quitting time. But I'm at $187. I am not going to give up the day because of $13. I'm going to continue even if it takes 2 more orders to get my $13.
Yeah,
Like I'm
what
not
if,
going to.
but what if you're at 120?
It's never
It's not
happened.
possible.
Again, Gary, she's better than that. Stop.
To me though, like it's also I base the reason why I do $1 per hour. It's because I also base how many orders I take per hour. Also,
A dollar per hour.
No, using
What?
the dollar per hour system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like $1
But
per-
it also depends on how much. Like, if I know, like, I'm making this up, like,
Right.
my first order is a $6 order, I know I'm going to have to probably do 3 orders in an hour in order to make it. But if I have a Spark that's like $22, then okay, I can do that one Spark, but I might be able to tack on a DoorDash order onto that Spark to have a, $30 hour. It just depends on what platforms I'm using, how I'm multi-apping. But like the bottom line is I'm here to make money. I'm here to get, go out and hustle and do whatever I need to do. And by the time 10 o'clock rolls around, if I'm not at 200, then I'm pretty darn close to it, and I'm gonna stay out until I make it or break it. But I'm gonna make it because
Steve
I don't give up.
switches on Instacart whenever he's that close.
Again, nothing but net from Kim.
Well, also, I think one thing that's different for me is I work a W-2 job overnight, so I can only dash or work from like until 7:30. So I'll do it from like 11 till 7:30, then go to work, come back, and do it all over again. So for me, whatever I make until that time, it is what it is.
So your W-2
Okay,
is full time or part time?
It's full time.
And
So he's a part-time gig worker then.
But then I'm also dashing like 40 plus hours, so I would say I'm full time.
he
works
double,
2
he's
jobs.
double full time, man. Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
double
full-time.
full-time.
Well, my W-2, it's not physically demanding, so I'm on a computer, I'm in a desk setting, I do my editing there when I have downtime. So it's not the only hard part is staying awake, when people are sleeping, really.
I was just gonna say it's an overnight job though, right?
Yeah.
What,
So it's from 8 to 5. So technically, right now I'm just taking some personal time, I guess. So technically, I'm working, but I'm not right now.
Oh, you're at work right now.
Well, I'm at my house right now, but I have to go later on.
Okay.
So.
Oh, and it's not remote from home. It's actual.
No. I mean, technically, I guess it could be because I'm salaried anyways. But if anything happens, it's easier to be there and then go out and use the company truck and things like that.
So are you finding it that the cost of living, your family, everything is demanding that you do that? Or are you just trying to get ahead of the curve here a little bit?
I think it's a little bit of both, because realistically, the rent here is just crazy high. And it was funny because my neighbor next door, he just moved.
Just before you even go on, if Gary wasn't in his second state, Oklahoma, and he was in his first state of Florida, all 4 of us live in very high rent places. Then Kim's in Jersey, I'm in Denver. Gary's normally in Florida. Right now he's like in the cheapest place on earth next to North Dakota. But
it's like my neighbor, it was a bunch of college kids.
We all get that. That's why I asked though. Yeah.
Right. So my neighbor, I live near a college, George Mason, and there were a bunch of college kids. They were super cool. And then they moved out, and then they put the for rent sign. And out of curiosity, I called, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's we're renting it for like $3,100, and it's
for what is 3,100 get you?
A townhome, three levels, 3 bedrooms, 1 garage, no yard or anything.
That's about the same as Denver
compared to like what I
Yeah, I think. I just think that we all live in. I mean, that's just what it is, dude. Yeah. That's what it is in Denver. Kim just said that's about what it is in Jersey. I think that honestly, we all just live. If you live in a big city or like areas like we do, this is just what it is now. It's kind of across the board. I mean, New York and LA and San Francisco might have, and Seattle even might have their own different little standards on how much higher it can go, but they're not even that much more above us anymore, to be honest. I know people in the Bay Area who when I first moved here to Colorado, it was like a joke. I was paying 1/3 of the cost of living as all my friends who made their way out to California. And now we're like pretty close. And at least I'm able to say, hey man, at least my housing market's not going to crash first. So
it was funny because I was talking to
actually I'm not, because it is, but
he's in the chat and he lives in Tennessee. And I think we were talking about how much rent costs, and I'm like, dude, I would kill somebody to pay what you pay for rent in Tennessee. You know, and he's bringing in like $300 and $300 a day. So that's really good.
But it depends on where you are. I got friends in Nashville, and it's still a little better, but Nashville's pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm. I forget which city he said, but I don't think it's a major one. I think it's one of those smaller types when everyone knows everyone kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we do know people who live in those type areas, but it seems like for the most part, most of us seem to live in bigger metro areas. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
I'm sure. I
until
know we have
people
some,
until people stop paying these crazy prices, though, they're going to continue to climb.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the W-2, you know,
dude,
that's
it's
a money.
food. What do you mean? We got to eat. Or you're talking about housing, but like now it's everything, man. Now
everything's expensive. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about housing. Like I was looking at earlier in one of my Facebook groups. They were talking about housing, you know, and they was like, "Why is it so expensive?" You know, and the simplest answer is people are willing to pay it. There's no other reasons. People are willing to pay it.
They're willing to pay it. And I don't know about your areas. Like my area is getting built up like crazy. Like I have that new Amazon fresh supermarket opening by me. Like there's like I feel like they're just building everywhere, whether it's like condos or you know, I have a new Chick-fil-A. Like I feel like they're just building everywhere, which also adds to the mix of, you know, housing market going up.
Well, I mean, I don't know where they're not, other than, you know, some like really random spots, but even things like Montana, states like Montana and stuff, where you would think that'll never get built out. Like I get up to Montana and Jackson Hole in those areas, and I go camping and do all kinds of snowboarding and stuff and backcountry stuff. And even those cities are getting built out a little bit. I mean, it's crazy, dude. You can't really go anywhere anymore. I mean, you can run. You can run up to North Dakota or northern Montana or whatever by glacier, and you could probably, for the next X amount of years, feel a little bit off the grid and like, oh, it's cool that I can only see a couple neighbors. But I guarantee you, within a few years, even up there, man, it's not going to look like that. Because not only is it just getting overpopulated, but as it does, people like from California who used to move to Denver when they were like, we can't take it anymore. Well, now they move here and they're like, oh, this place is too packed too. And they just keep going. They just go to a new place. They go to Montana. You know, they're like, nobody will be up there.
What's crazy though, for me, it's like nobody wants to work. Like literally at my overnight job, like we have no staff. And in one of my videos, there was this like panhandler, and I offered him a job. Like, hey man, starting it's $18 an hour. All you have to do is show up on time, pass the drug test, very basic. And he's like, no, I'm okay. And I'm like, if you really need a job, like you would have said, yeah, man, I'll sign up today, you know, help me. But that's his job.
Threw him with the drug test.
You know, or maybe perhaps
that's what I was gonna say too. The drug test threw him out.
He's like, shit, man, I would have done that.
It's crazy. Like I'm just like no one's applying, and the people that are applying don't last. You know, so it's just like it's tough.
Why don't they last? Is it a terrible job?
I think they're just not used to staying awake. You know,
I mean, working graveyard shift is one thing I've never been able to do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can stay up all night programming or whatever, but you want me to go actually work that doesn't stimulate my mind. It's like no.
Yeah, well, I think the hardest thing is because most of them are driving overnight. Like you have to sleep during the day, or you're gonna crash or something. You know, so a lot of them get wired up in like any type of energy drink. But then at 2 or 3 in the morning, you're crashing. You know, and it's tough.
I think Nova, you brought up a really good point that, you know, nobody wants to work, but yet everyone still wants to make a lot of money. Like there's no they have like this notion like I don't want to work, but I still want to be raking in the dough and still spend like I'm going crazy. So it's a weird world we're living in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get political or anything, but when the whole stimulus checks came out, we lost so many people that just never came back. They're like, hey, I'm good. I got enough money. I'm not coming back. And even now when they're looking for jobs, they're like, oh, you know, I'm still living off that money. I'm good. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
That's not a lot of.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that they can still be living off that. I
Well,
was on
the
John
people
McCalion's
that
channel
I had a lot
yesterday.
of kids. They had a lot of kids. Those people had a lot of kids.
But I was on John McCalion's channel yesterday talking about this very thing, the Great Resignation.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
we were talking about.
In the
We were
chat.
talking about, was it real? We didn't get sidetracked a couple times, but I mean, like, honestly, like we were like, is this really happening, or are people just too lazy? Are people still getting by on stimulus money? And I honestly don't see how you could be, no matter what level you were taking it at. But we did discuss how that was kind of very weird. Like, it's a very weird thing that because in the beginning of the pandemic, all of us were stuck at home. There was a short period that I don't care who you were home. Like, and middle March to like mid-May, April, if you weren't, like, something was wrong with you. Because even at that point, no matter where you fell on the spectrum of your belief,
or you lived in Florida.
well, but even then, dude, it was just such a questionable thing. Like, okay, let me put it this way. I wasn't even so in belief yet of whatever this virus was. I felt like something had been spilled or exposed and they didn't want to be honest. Like, oh crap, a nuclear plant meltdown happened. Just cover it up, dude. No, don't tell the people they're going to be multicolored in a few days. Like, you know,
well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because on my job, you know, we manage properties like shopping malls, things like that, and we got all these things from like the property saying, hey, you know what, we're not sure we can, you know, maintain the contracts. So a lot of these contracts were really like shaky. They're based off sales that they would make or whatever, and they would give us a portion for cleaning the property and whatnot. And they actually gave us letters from like the government allowing us to go to, like, you know, different states and travel, all kinds of things. But for a while, we were like, you know, I was still getting paid because I'm salaried. So I was super thankful that, you know, we were still getting paid. But for like a whole 2 weeks, we weren't sure we were going to keep working. And then eventually kind of like it leveled out. And they're like, okay, we got a couple properties that are, you know, with the government or whatever. So those have to get cleaned and things like that. But, you know, for a while, a lot of people were like on the limbo for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy to me. But I do think that it's nuts that any people who got into that program literally learned very quickly that they were paid more to stay home than to go to work. And that, I think, was the worst thing that our government ever did, was teach everybody. Well, I understand taking care of everybody, but here's the thing. I think it was the worst thing ever to make it so, hey guys, you blue collar workers or that range who bust your tails, hey, we're going to just pay you more to stay home, and you can do it for a long time even. I mean, if you want to continue on PUA, you could have, just by saying, okay, I want to, for like whatever, a year. I don't even remember, you know, it went for too long.
What I think through all of this and what's happening even right now, people don't want to work, but yet their spending habit, they don't want to cut their spending habits either. So I just think it's amazing that people are just like, you know, going out the door and spending, but yet, nope, still not working. So it's just, it just baffles my brain sometimes when I think about it.
Yeah, no, I think they should have done it based off, you know, your last year's taxes or something, you know, to kind of keep the income relatively the same. But
yeah, but then again, what about all the people who would have claimed, well, I didn't have any income last year. Last year sucked for me. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, well then this year's going to suck worse and you're not going to have food. Like, that can't be the answer either. We got to have a way to be like, crap, we got to take care of them, even though they don't meet any of the standards or the criteria, you know. Or what about people who are already in the system, and this is nothing against them, against the ones who abuse it, yes, but not against the ones who use it. But maybe they're already in like a welfare system, you know, and then they got that PUA on top of it. And then there was the per kid thing for a while. And I'm not talking about the tax credit. I'm talking about the bump you could get per kids. It was just like, are you kidding? Like, these are already incentives everybody gets who are in government programs. You can't like triple down on it because we have a pandemic. They don't need 3 times the food money because we're in a pandemic. I mean, I don't know. You need to keep people's goals realistic. You can't just like make them feel like kings and they have some time off. That's okay. But I mean, like, it should have been if so, it should have been maybe even more, but for a much shorter period, 2 to 3 months tops, you know, of like overkill kind of payment. Like, okay, we're going to take care of everybody because we're confused. but chill out, and then we'll all get back to it.
I just think people's spending habits need to change with what's going on with the times. I feel like we just haven't gotten that far yet. But like, even like they had that $300 per, what was it, $300 per child
Per kid, yeah.
per kid for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks on top of the stimulus check that went out. So I feel like we were just like dishing it out.
Oh, it's Fletcher, London Fletcher. He's retired, so you know I can't wear someone that's currently playing because they're probably gonna switch teams and whatnot. So I only wear retired players' jerseys nowadays. So throwback jersey can't go wrong with that.
You know? But yeah, I agree, Kim. I don't know. This is I'm already doing it. Are you? I mean, you say that people are doing it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm already doing it. I'm like way budgeting now.
Yeah.
And I'm not basing it because I see the news go, oh, we're at 9.1 now. I think we had May wrong, but June was 9.1. You guys don't just say you don't know anything, okay? Enough. It's like 22. Okay, stop.
I know, even because of gas prices, I'm even budgeting gas every single day. I just feel like everybody's mind has got to change. Like I now have like I feel like I never had to worry about. I feel like I'm more tight budgeted now than I ever had, so that way I don't get into this bind that I feel like a lot of people are getting themselves into. Whether there's a budget for groceries, there's a budget every day for gas. Like I feel like I now have like a budget for every single thing that I do, and I'm finding different ways of also saving money because you never know. I feel like you never know what's going to happen with this economy, and you never know what's going to happen down the road. So I feel like I'm finding different ways of saving too.
See, I noticed that like when they was giving out all this money and the PPP loans and things like that, people were not being responsible with it. Like they were.
Most people didn't even know what they were doing with it, man.
Right.
They were like just going, fine, I'll take it. Take what?
Like every check that they sent me, and then I got the PPP loan and all that. I used it to pay off debt. I took it all. I paid off all my credit card debt, everything like that. So that way I didn't have those monthly payments that I was already making. So now all that money that I was paying for all my credit cards and stuff get thrown into my savings account. So that way, if something happens, rainy day or something like that, I still have that money.
Yeah, I never spent the stimulus money. I just kept it in the bank. I just feel like maybe it's just me, but I feel like when we went into like a lockdown mode and we weren't doing anything, like I don't know whether it was like panic mode, but it was, at least for me, I'm like, okay, well, I felt like I needed to keep everything like really close because you didn't know what the next 2 weeks or the next month was going to bring. That's why, like, when the stimulus stuff came in, like, I just kept it in the bank, and I'm like, okay, I know it was meant to spend and help the economy, but at the same time, well, I'm still spending. I'm betting on myself, and I'm keeping it for me because I don't know what the next 2 months are going to bring. And also, my W-2 world was a little, shaky at that point as well. So I felt like just the future was just uncertain. I'm like, you know what? Let's bank it.
Did you hear that, Pedro? If you're still here, she's betting on herself.
Hey, I mean, I used mine to go on vacation with my family. I'm not going to lie. We went to South Carolina for like a week. It was great.
Yeah.
But if you're not financially in debt, you can do that type of stuff. But I mean, if you had debt and you got money, I think the smart move is to pay off your debt. That's just me. Because I'm thinking 10 years from now, not next year.
Unless they were giving you stimulus money because the nuclear bomb hits New York City and the PSA didn't help you.
Yeah, did any of you guys see that, by the way? I sent it to Steve. New York City sent out a PSA on how to survive a nuclear attack to everybody in New York City.
This is no joke. Everybody in New York
news,
City got to see. Yeah, and it was like, it was filmed correctly, and like the lady talking is like wearing like a suit and stiletto heels, and she's like standing in a war-torn building, and she's like, if a nuclear bomb goes off in the city, immediately go home. shut your doors, shut
And
your
take a
windows,
shower.
and await instructions from the government. I was sitting going, okay, if a nuclear bomb goes off in New York City, nobody's going home.
Yeah.
Nobody's unless you're like doing it to me, unless you like you're
Well, first
you're not
off,
just gonna go home and turn on TV and find out the TV station's wiped out and you got no TV anyway.
Well, it's a nuclear attack. First off, nobody's surviving in New York City.
Yeah.
Nobody.
It's like
That's
me.
a
I'm
very
right next to,
sentiment.
I'm right next to DC. I already know my fate's sealed. You know,
Yeah.
living my life.
That's
But
almost better though, because you know
funniest
you're
thing-
done if
The
if it
funniest thing
goes
about that video, though, is they were like, if you were outside when the attack occurred, make sure you
inside.
wash yourself. Like, what the hell is that going to do for a nuclear attack?
Not if you already ingested
Like,
it. There's nothing you're going to do.
Let me put some Dawn on me. I'll be okay.
And wait a minute, wouldn't the pipes break open in New York City and the water be exposed to nuclear immediately? Should you be going and taking a nuclear shower?
Whoever approved that video needs to be fired. Because they clearly were not thinking.
Speaking of fired and just crazy things, and the story of Uber continues. And I don't know if you guys have watched it. I know Gary's been watching. I don't know if he's done with it yet.
Super Pumped, yes, I am done with it.
Super Pumped is a seven episode. Is it 7 episodes? I think.
Yeah, 7.
Right?
I think
7-episode miniseries that you should all check out if you have Showtime or if you have access to watch it or whatever. Illegally download it. I don't care. But you should watch it because
that is Steve's personal opinion.
Yeah, it is. Just delete it when you're done, dude. I don't think you should have to pay for it though. Sorry, Super Pumped. You got all your money from Showtime anyway. It's not like you guys are paid per watch. You sold out to a home box office type affiliate, so it's not like you're paid per watch. You've been paid, no beggy. That just is hurting Showtime, and that I could really care less about. So,
Steve, I'll take your password, so I can watch it.
Super Pumped is the reason why I took that free trial from Amazon for Showtime, so I could watch it. They gave me like a 90-day trial or something.
But that's what I've been writing about on Uber Lyft drivers for this. I'm in my 6th year of writing there now. And I've been writing. I started when I was doing Rideshare since 2014. I started in 2017, March, writing about that because I saw the end of Travis coming. It hadn't happened yet. It was about 2 months out. And I started writing. And I was writing so many articles. And then I started pasting in other ones. But in the beginning, they were just mine. But then the Susan Fowler event, all these events that I've now watched through the show, I was literally, the show's timeline is kind of, it's funny, Gary, it's kind of the timeline of Uber Lyft drivers. Because it really is. Like, I pretty much started it right around that, like, bro culture.
What are you talking about, the 2009? Or are you talking about the 2014?
No. Yeah, but I based it on my 2014 was why I started it in 2017. So that era, 2014, 2016 wasn't so weird. 2016 to 2018 was very weird.
Yes.
And that's when probably 80% of Super Pumped happened right in that little window. I mean, it's right before Dara when Travis was just going down. And I mean, I've talked about a lot about this, but I mean, you see it. You see every article on every paper right now. U.S. Uber being sued over sexual assaults. Over 550 came out. The disruptive tax strategy. Do you think it's weird that all these articles are coming out? Here's what I thought was weird. And here's why I said what I did about Uber Lyft drivers. I've been reporting on this for a long time. Hannibal even mentioned it to me today. He was like, it's crazy. He's like, all the stuff that I felt like Hannibal was saying, dude, all that stuff that I thought you were crazy for, I just saw it really happened. And now I don't think you're crazy. And so I was like, awesome.
So you feel better because you're not crazy?
No, I still think you're crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to lie, dude. Yeah. Yes. Well, I felt like
Steve,
that was
Steve just
Hannibal
over there
normally
making
wouldn't
stuff
text,
up, and it came true.
Hannibal, Hannibal wouldn't text. He'll text me, but he wouldn't text me like that unless he truly meant it. It came from somewhere. I think he was like saying, dude, I thought you were nuts, but hey, like, check this out. So
Nova,
he was like really surprised.
Just curious, Nova, have you ever done rideshare?
Actually, I did. I did in the beginning. I did Uber for a little bit, and then the car that I had at the time, it died on me, so I stopped.
So before I even go through to the end of this, though, have you seen Super Pumped by chance?
I have not. I'm gonna look for a link somewhere. I'm gonna Google. I'll probably find one at work, or see the guys at work. We all share stuff, so like we have like a Disney Plus, and it's funny because it looks like a family, but it's just coworkers. So like I'll have Netflix, and someone else pays something else, and I'm sure somebody will have it. I'm gonna put in a little group chat. Who has Showtime? Yeah. I need to watch this so I can be informed.
If not, a lot of the Amazon, you can get the free, like it's either 7-day or 30-day trials too. So
or just bootleg it,
or just like Steve said, bootleg it.
Yeah, the thing with me, I always forget to cancel things, so I got to make sure that if I do that, I got to cancel that because like I got
to cancel the bootleg. You just delete.
They gave me like 3 months for free of Apple TV, and I forgot, and I got $5, down the drain. So
see what you do is you sign up on like 2 days that you're off, and then you binge watch it those 2 days, and then you cancel it as soon as you're done with 7th episode. Pia, it is called Super Pumped.
So Gary, did you look into these at all? Did you see this? One of the ones that, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't even know. Are either of you familiar with the Uber files and like what's been dumped this week? Like if you type in Uber in Google search and hit news, normally that brings up a bunch of different stories around the world. Right now that brings up this only because I've known about this for a long time. Other people have, but they literally put out, I can't even remember what it was, like 120. Oh, here, there it is. 124,000 records were submitted on Uber and all the crazy stuff they do. And I mean, literally like went over it all. But here's what I found weird, Gary. Don't you think that it's, I feel like, I mean, I'm looking at the Washington Post, New York Times, Axios. It's in every paper you look at, Los Angeles, San Francisco Chronicle. I've got all those tabs up right now. And don't you think it's weird that I feel like they wrote this news story, even though the Showtime thing is real? I feel like they wrote all this based on
the TV show, huh?
Yeah, like they were like,
that's
they're like watching it. And they're like, I forgot about that. And they're like writing notes.
Yeah, well, I was going to bring that up to you once we started talking about it. Like I went through here and I started reading it, and I was like, it literally looks like I'm going through episode 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Super Pumped here. Because it's following.
And I'm not trying to make fun of it, guys, because there's a lot of this news we're talking about is horrible. Like the 550 million women who have been sexually abused, and I'm not talking within the corporate. That's its own thing. This is within the vehicles. There's a lot of heavy stuff that came out, but for the most part, most of it follows the Super Pumped story. And it's like that, and these people are making it sound like news today. Like, check this out. It's like I feel like people are gonna go, I've seen Super Pumped.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A lot of the stuff that they mentioned in this article was like directly pretty much quoting the show.
Okay, so now I'm gonna have to go hack into Gary's Showtime and watch.
We gotta watch it. We gotta watch it.
Or, remember, we're sponsored by Bootleg. So I'm just kidding. We're sponsored by Middleton Technologies, Solo, and Moves.
Duh.
Duh.
Makes sense.
You know what though? Boober could be a thing. I'm just saying.
I know, but like honestly, like other, as I went through all this, because honestly, guys, there's a lot to this stuff. And by the way, go to uberliftdrivers.com. And I'm not even going to tell you which links. Just go to uberliftdrivers.com. And I post every day. So in the last like 3 or 4 days, there might be some of the articles have like 11 articles within them. But go through those if you want to really look into what these Uber files are, because they're crazy. If you want to read about some of the stuff I didn't even know about And I thought I knew all this stuff. I mean, I've known everything since Phantom and Gray Ball before they were on that show. I had articles on them from 2017 on those same subjects. And then the show came out a year ago. So I'm 4 years before the show. And now the show comes out, and now every newspaper is writing about it like it's real life. And it is, but I'm just like, wow, dude, you guys are like just sitting at home watching Showtime, writing your articles.
Oh, it says you can watch it on Hulu as well.
Oh, you can?
It's on Hulu? Okay, I got Hulu.
Yeah, it says it's on Hulu.
But I think it's Hulu if you
if you have Showtime or whatever.
Showtime with it.
Oh yeah, Hulu Showtime. Okay, sorry people. I thought
got me excited.
I know. I'm like, oh, Gary,
you guys just if you can't figure it out, just bootleg it.
Well, that's why I was trying
Actually,
to find a bootleg
don't bootleg it, guys. Bootlegging's wrong. I have never done it. I don't even know if you can, if it's possible, but
it's possible.
Oh, it's definitely possible for sure.
Oh, okay.
It's possible.
I guess you can do it. So. But I think it's funny. I mean, like, because it really, I don't know how deep you got into it, Gary, but it really, or anybody who's listening, who's in the chat, anything, but I'll tell you what, it got into everything. I mean, it's like Uber did every single thing wrong for a 3-year period.
Right. But here's the thing though. If they didn't, they would never have been around. I mean, that's the bad part about it. It really is.
It's so sad though.
But
we broke every rule, every country's laws. But if we didn't do that, we wouldn't still be here. Like,
it's the truth. It's the truth. I mean, because
but they went into countries and said, we're going to operate here. And they said, no, you're not. And they said, well, weird thing is we already are.
Well, that's the thing. Like Russia wasn't going to allow them. Europe wasn't going to allow them. Like nobody.
Right.
Was
That's
even,
why, you know what they did?
California wasn't going to allow them.
They said, gosh, you know, we'd almost respect that, but instead we're just going to come there and do it anyway.
Well, it's the thing though, is you have to get people to rely on it. And then once people relied on it so much, they couldn't just pull it out. You know, that's like the California thing where they said, well, you're going to abide by our laws. And Uber's like, nah, we'll just pull out. And then they're like, wait, we can't have you do that. I mean, that's essentially what happened with the AB5 stuff is the same thing that happened in 2009 through 12 or whatever. You know, right. When Uber first started, they essentially did the same thing twice. They're just like, okay, whatever. Right. You know, now I'm not saying what they did as far as, you know, disregarding driver safety, passenger safety, and all that was needed. I'm just saying how they released themselves to countries. If they didn't do it that way, they would never have been around.
So crime pays.
Pretty much.
Well, basically.
Isn't that the way of the world?
I mean, that's just so sad that we just had to learn that from Gary. It was a really nicely put version of crime pays, though. I'll give you that, bro. But I mean, honestly,
do you disagree though? If they tried to do it the right way, I don't think that they would have survived. I think that the countries and taxi commissions and all that would have thrown them out.
I guess what really throws me, and I guess like Nova and Kim will get this once they watch this, but what really throws me is the culture that they had going within the bro community, let's call it, without giving any spoilers to the show. On top of doing all this, we're doing all this because we know it's the only way to make it work. Are you breaking the laws? Oh yeah. But on top of that, they were being that bro culture, dude. Well, it was very, very bad. And these guys will learn as they watch.
It's not really a spoiler, but he only asked one question when he interviewed people. And it was, are you an asshole? That was his only interview question ever.
Right, but you only got to an interview with him if somebody else.
Somebody else, right. But I'm saying once you talk to him, he didn't care anything else about you, though.
Right.
You know, which
you could lie about that.
Well, I mean,
if you're an asshole, I would guess hopefully you. Dude, if I'm an asshole and somebody said, "Are you an asshole?" I'd be like, no. I'm not gonna-
Depends if he's looking
Yep.
to get the
Dude.
job. I'd be like, of
Totally,
course I am.
Yeah.
With a big smile on my face. Of course I am.
Like, have you met me? I'm Steve. Steve
I'd be like,
MF.
are you an asshole? I'd be like,
Rodeo.
who are you talking to, man? You know me?
Like, oh,
I mean, I think everybody lies when you interview. We had a guy, I can work weekends. Where you at? Oh, I can't work on Fridays and Saturdays. That's the weekend. Like, you know, they just wanted a job and then they didn't. So it happens.
I mean, do you, and I got to know this as we start to wind it down here. I got to know, like, in your market, I tell these guys all the time. And this is one of the things I love about the round table is that when we have new people on, we get to talk to hopefully they're in a new market. Right now, you're a new market to us. So I'm curious, like I've told the story a couple times that in Denver, let's say we have 40 Walgreens in Denver Metro. Okay. Probably 5 of them are 24-hour Walgreens, let's say. Now, I live near Quebec Street, a pretty major street, and about 8 blocks up it is a Walgreens that's 24 hours with a pharmacy 24 hours. So it's one of those 5. It's like a very important one, right? Usually has about 2 to 3 pharmacists, even in the 24-hour shift, 2 at the very least, and usually has about 8 to 11 people working the store itself. Manager, photo. It's because it's got it all. It's one of those Walgreens. So this has happened a few times, but on a Saturday at like 5 p.m., I go over there and there's a handwritten Sharpie marker note that says, sorry, we're closed. We had 0 people here. Do you see that in your market at all?
No.
For nothing. Nothing
I think
shut down.
I think maybe a couple of McDonald's that didn't have a drive-through. Those definitely shut down, like inside malls or like little tiny ones, but very rare. I've seen a couple that have like a little sign, we closed due to an emergency, or maybe they'll close the lobby early, but very few stores actually closed, at least that I'm aware of.
Well, I know there's a movement in California right now that is to shut down all of inside dining for fast foods in all fast food of all of California.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Real quick, I went to Showtime.com and it says 30 days free.
I was just gonna say that
you guys have
Hulu.
30
If you
days.
have, I think if you have Hulu, you get 60 days or something too. There's another deal through there, so you can.
I'm just saying, if you have no streaming platform, go to Showtime.com. They have 30 days free. Just make sure you watch it in 30 days.
And if you've already used the 30 days free and you don't feel like creating a new email address,
use a different. And you can email Steve at find the link, link.
You can email Steve at steve@irs.org.
No, it'd be .gov. It'd be .gov.
No, it's you can email that guy Steve at withpara.com.
Hey, Steve, quick question. But so this California thing, what's the point of that? To close the lobby just because, or?
I think it's because of the amount. I mean, if you look at California, they're back to like somewhat masking, like in a big way. Like I will say, I was talking to whatever it was a couple days ago, and we were talking. I was saying that day I'd been to the grocery store and I hadn't seen that many masks in. I don't even know how long. I want to say this whole calendar year, but at least the past 4 or 5 months, I have not seen that many people in masks. And I'm not just talking about a couple more. I'm talking about we had gotten to like 0% were masked, literally in my area anyway. And I live in Denver. But nobody was wearing a mask, even older people, doesn't matter. And there was probably it was a Sunday, and there was probably about 30% of the people masked. And I literally am telling you, I went from 0% to 30% masked when I came. I took a hike. I stopped at the grocery store. Let's say there was 100 people there. 30 had masks on. And I was like, what the hell happened?
Okay, I was wondering if it was the internet or something. What happened?
They're getting ready for nuclear attack.
Hey Gary, you gotta put a little push notification on the apps, man. So if I'm driving, I gotta see it.
Nuclear attack.
Yeah. Mhm.
Did I go out?
What?
And it cut
Oh.
off at
Oh,
some
shit.
point. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, like Monique says, in Florida, the mask are not been a thing ever.
Right. Well, that's. I mean, and cheers to you. I mean, like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean. Like,
you guys can be jealous of Florida. I'm just saying, you can. We're okay. with it.
here's something I will say though too, and I think we all know this. Even the kitchen sink method that Rogan used involved vitamin D. Florida's sunshine all the time. Colorado's a lot of sunshine, but as you get up north, you get a lot less sunny days and stuff, and you do need to take vitamin D and stuff, and you do become more COVID prone. I will say that. Like, you guys have you always have the sun out in Florida. Or you get way enough.
Well, except for 3 to 3:30 p.m. Then it's rain.
Right. Well, if that's you only go out during that half hour.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn it, every
damn
day.
it. Damn.
Every day it does this. Like, then quit going out then. But I'm just saying, like, I lived in Florida for a brief time when I was working salary for laser production, and I just know that even on a cloudy day, dude, you're getting sun. It's just different down there. Like, if you're outside and it's cloudy, you're still getting
nice.
So you're still getting sunburn though. You're still getting like tan.
I know it's nice. It's nice. You can say it's nice, Steve. Just say it's
beautiful
nice.
here too, dude. I love Colorado, man. You keep your Florida. You can come visit my Colorado.
Hey Steve, going back to your mask thing. Yeah, there's very few masks here that I see. Maybe a couple of elderly people if we go into a medical office, but other than that,
yeah.
I know. What about during the
require
pandemic?
Well, I mean, during the pandemic, if you didn't have one, everyone looked at you like you were an alien. It's like you had to wear one. And it was funny because I think
where Gary lived in Florida, people didn't wear them. Where my boss is in Florida, they didn't wear them. Like, I'm talking the whole pandemic. Like,
no,
they
in
might
fact,
have one in their pocket for what you needed it for, kind of thing. A bank.
No,
I don't even know.
Where I was at in Florida, the only place that actually enforced it was the hospital. And actually, my county that I lived in passed an ordinance saying that they can't require us to have COVID vaccine cards or force us to wear a mask. So,
yeah, I mean, here in DC, when I went to DC, for a hot second, they were requiring that you had to bring your vaccination card to get into like the club or a bar or any type of gathering. But then it didn't last long. They got rid of it.
Started losing money.
See, I thought DC was a little more mask hardcore, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I remember they were like, you have to bring your card. I'm like, but anyone could fake it. It's like a basic, it's not like you can scan it and say, oh yeah, it's legit.
You could buy them from Amazon.
Yeah, so it was kind of silly.
They did the vaccination thing here, and I go to all these venues. I've worked a lot of these venues during production, and like, I would go up to things that were mask required, and everybody walking in wouldn't have a mask or whatever. And they get you vaccinated? And like, no checking. And I mean, literally, that's what it was. Like, are you vaccinated? Sure. You want me to be? Okay, I am. It didn't even matter. Like,
what's one crazy thing that I was thinking about? So my daughter, she's 4, right? And when COVID first started, she was like 2, and we couldn't get her to wear a mask. But now she doesn't know a world without the mask wearing. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that she's not gonna have a memory where people didn't have masks.
I still mask.
So it was definitely interesting
you
for her.
Mask now?
Yeah, I do. Well, I do for a couple of reasons. First of all, my husband with his surgery last year, we have to be super careful
fair
about
enough.
health, coming into the house. And also my 5-year-old daughter, she literally just got vaccinated. So, we had to be super cautious around her. I'm still super cautious around her too. I can't have COVID come into my house just for health reasons.
Understood. And when you said that, I was actually thinking of for another reason too, because you never know what customer might care.
Yeah.
Like, no matter where the mask mandate is where you are, let's say that it's completely down and everybody's in the street going, finally, enough. That doesn't mean that the grandma who's been locked up and lives alone for a year and a half under this pandemic restraints of having a mask on, how she views you coming up without a mask would.
Yeah, no, I still go into restaurants with a mask. I still even deliver with mask. I'm still masked out. There's still a good percentage in New Jersey that's still wearing masks. There's still a good percentage that doesn't, but there's still a good percentage that actually does in New Jersey.
So I'll tell you this, that I honestly, if I was doing food, I would be. I'm just not even thinking of it that way. I do shipped and I do curry, and so I deal with people who look at me like, "Dude, why do you have a mask on?" Like, and I'm like, "Oh, never mind." Like, like different scenario, different thing.
See, I
get it.
But I'm vaccinated too, though. So, and I'm waiting for somebody to say something about it. I know, but I really just want to scream at somebody that I'm vaccinated, so they can record.
I'm vaccinated. I'm boosted. My whole family's vaccinated and boosted. But my sister was.
But we know that's not enough. It helps. But we know it's not enough. That's not enough.
Yeah, the best way for me to protect my family and what goes on in my house is to wear a mask and know that I'm not the one bringing it home into my house.
Sure.
Yeah, I think everybody has to look out for. Do you
wear an N95?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I wonder. In fact, I wonder to any of the people in chat, if you still wear a mask or not. Put it. If you don't mind, put in there if you wear a mask or if you don't wear a mask, and then if you do, put in there if you wear an N95 too. I'm just curious. I'm just curious because if you are masking, more power to you. I guess I probably still have one in my car. Like Gary said, I'm not doing it either. But Gary used to be a trucker, and he used to deal with all that stuff, and he knows how it's almost like they look at you like, boy, take the dumb chin guard off. Like, it's like, huh?
I definitely have a mask in my car, but it's definitely not a K95. I think it's just one of those generic blue ones,
Yeah, the paper ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, a lot of people are confused because, like, the mask isn't to stop you from getting it. It's to help prevent you from spreading it. And
right,
I think that's what a lot of
any germs really. It's
right, and I think that's what a lot of people are confused about.
Yeah, I mean, like Pia says here, like I see around here, even this has stopped. Our medical offices don't require.
Yeah, I did go to the hospital.
They don't. In fact, they were finding some breathing problems, so they don't want you to wear them unless you need to.
Yeah, the hospital.
You have to in medical offices and hospitals. You have to in New Jersey still.
Same in Oklahoma.
But you also can't pump your own gas. That's a weird state.
Yeah, we can't. It's awesome in the wintertime.
Yeah, Oklahoma hospitals I know are masked.
Do you tip the gas attendant when you pump gas or no? Right? When I went through, I was so confused. I'm like, am I supposed to tip you? Like, I don't understand. Like,
wait, why do you not tip him?
I think you're supposed to tip him.
Yeah, why do you not tip him? He's providing his service.
In New Jersey, what do you tip your person when you go into?
I've never had anybody pump my gas. If they're pumping my gas, I'm gonna tip them.
Okay, you're
like, is that out of there? Good.
See now we know why customers don't tip. They're like, why?
It's what it is in New Jersey. It's a cult. Like, I feel like from every other state, like it's foreign to have like someone pump. Like, it's just like going to a checkout at ShopRite or Target. Like, it's just part of our normal everyday life. So
no, checkout's different. Checkout is different. It's not the same thing. Checkout is completely different than some guy stand out in 0-degree weather to pump your gas for you. That is not like some clerk.
Wait a minute, Gary. I want to say it's New Jersey too. I know it's Oregon, but not only that, you can't pump your own gas. But I believe New Jersey too. You do have to go to school to learn how to pump gas. I'm not kidding.
You do.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All jokes put aside, there are a lot of rules and regulations. Like, you can't have like your ignition turned on, even though everybody does. Like, obviously, no smoking around. Gas tanks. Like, it's like.
But isn't that like a 20-minute intro?
Take
To
the
me,
pump
to all of
off,
us, it's common sense.
insert,
But
squeeze.
Right, but it's like a 5-month program.
I don't know about that, but
Isn't
What?
it something? Okay, in Oregon, it's like 5 months. Maybe they're not.
Well, see, this just proves my point that the longer a service is around, the less tips occur.
and like that's a perfect example of regulation.
but also the
That's
person
that's
pumping-
autonomous without a robot. That's an autonomous
right.
human.
This is the thing. The person pumping my gas is getting paid like $24, $25 an hour. That's the tip for you.
Right.
That's
Well,
crazy.
I mean, I actually guess I wonder what they're paid then.
It's got to be high, I think.
Well, then why wouldn't
I'm
you go
telling
do
it's
that?
Like $24, $25 an hour.
Why would it
It's a
be
pretty-
high? I mean,
What?
like a doctor.
Well, it's not that high, but I think it's because if they gotta have someone to do it, no one wants to do it. I don't think, right? To be out there in 10-degree weather pumping gas,
They do it in every other state.
right? But I'm saying if you live in New Jersey, what
Or
are you
you
gonna do?
or you just allow everybody to pump your own gas and let them tell
Right?
you, yeah, go
That's the
pump
logical
it, dude.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would love to learn the story of why. Not like some long history show on it, but I'd love to know the story of why Oregon and New Jersey demand that somebody pump your gas for you.
It's strange.
So
To me, it just sounds like a New Deal type of job, like just to get people employed, and then they just never took it away.
yeah. Well,
Oh, I guess it rocks in the wintertime for us people that are sitting in our cars in the nice warm heat.
wait, what am I looking at? Okay. Sorry, I was reading Gary's comment. Supposedly, Para has a announcement out. I have not seen it yet.
Yeah,
they'll be down for a bit.
They're going to be down for a while. Is what the thing
I have
is.
not seen it yet. I don't know.
And so
when
they released.
came,
Well, I've seen it. That's what I was going to talk about.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Because that's what he
Uh,
wants to hear anyway.
Yeah, they're going to be down for quite a bit. Is what they were saying. Even Solo is going to be down for like a month. They released that statement today as well. But Para did put the announcement in their app. They have launched a petition that
I did see that.
Yeah, so you can go check out the announcement tab in the app, and it will tell you everything about it, and it'll link you to the petition and all that stuff.
Or you can go to the Facebook group. That is the most heavily trafficked and moderated and seen, because the moderators kick it up to whoever might need to be aware of whatever a lot quicker than any other platform. So if you are on Facebook, I would recommend, if you have Para questions, please go over to the Facebook group. They used to be a very, very closed off group, but have absolutely been open to everybody as long as you follow the easy rules, which are just basic group Facebook rules. But yeah, so I see that, Darn from Pia, I was going to sign up for Solo here. I would still sign up for Solo. There's nothing wrong with Solo. And Solo still has a lot of features to provide. Like you can, just because that's down, I don't know if that's the only one thing you work, but you could still do it. But you can still through Solo see all the comparisons for everything else. It's
and they might actually tell you other platforms to go work too.
Now, do we?
Well, that's what I'm saying on Solo. If you work
anything?
whatever platforms you work out of the 17 mainstream ones they have, if you attach it, then it'll tell you. If you work 5, it'll still show you the other 4. So you'll still see like how the other 4 compare.
Sorry, Nova. What would you say?
No, I'm saying, do we think this petition is going to do anything? I don't think it's going to do anything. The petition, yeah, it's just,
No, I'll tell you what it is though, and I think Yuri knows this as well, is that and I met David through doing some stuff to help people. Like we weren't working on tip transparency when we were working with autonomy.jobs in the very beginning of the pandemic. But David feels he has a duty to, if you watch him talk recently, like there was a piece him and I did about 2 weeks ago on my channel that if you go back and watch, it's like 30 minutes long. And David is a lot more fired up than you'll probably ever see him other times. Like, he's mad. And he wants notches in the books of history that things were done about this. And I don't mean it's wasted time. He works with a lot of people, and some of the angel investors and other investors that he's brought in are all kind of on board with the theme of the transparency. That's huge to everybody. That's a big thing. But he just wants to make his voice heard. If he can take the 100,000+ users that use Para and get their signatures on something, that's worth something. It's worth something. It's going to make a little noise. Is it going to change corporate values over at DoorDash? No. Is it going to make them change the code? No. You know, if anything, they'll still keep working on how to keep it from them. That's not the thing is he's just trying to make it marked like in history, like, okay, look, this is what we've been doing. This is what should be happening. Why don't these people have the right to see where they're going? How far? As much as you see the things David does, he has a good heart to want to do the right thing. And for gig workers to have what he thinks are their rights. And I happen to agree with David on almost most of those things.
Yeah, say I pretty much agree. The actual petition can't change anything. Like change.org does never change anything. Like it can't force DoorDash to do. It could have 1 million signatures, and it can't force DoorDash to do anything. The news knows everything about DoorDash that we've already complained about. They've written stories about it. So it's not going to change in that sense, but it can't hurt either. You know, that's the thing. Like, what's it going to hurt? You know, just because if you don't try, then you can't really complain either. You know, that's how I see it. But I mean, like if you go to change.org right now and you type in DoorDash, I mean, there's a lot of petitions for DoorDash. You know, this one, since it is from Para and they got a lot of users, it'll probably have more signatures than the other ones. You know, if DoorDash was smart, they would look at history of drivers, you know, that, you know, like Uber, for example, if they would have just listened to drivers in the past, drivers have been happier. If your drivers aren't happy, then, you know, everybody's going to be mad at you. You know, eventually you do start and Uber and Lyft are finding this out now, that if your drivers aren't happy, your platform will suffer because like right now, people aren't doing rideshare. And it's not just because the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. It's because
it's super pumped.
Well, no, it's because it's not profitable. In most markets, it's not profitable. Like I don't do rideshare in Oklahoma. I refuse to. They pay 53 or 56 cents a mile. Why would I do that whenever I can easily do $2 a mile with package delivery or food delivery or something like that? I would never do rideshare in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know, one thing we started doing here was real quick. A law changed in July 1st about alcohol deliveries. So now third-party workers have to be like certified by the state and do all these things. And I know people that have not signed up for this. And DoorDash was offering you $50 if you sign up by a certain date to do the alcohol deliveries and whatnot. But these people are still getting it. They still get the orders, even though they're not part of, you know, the new program or whatever. But it just makes it a pain in the butt to like scan the ID. Now you got to scan the front of the ID, and it's super awkward. It takes forever. The app is just bad. But I wonder if you do deliver alcohol, which I don't think Kim does. If you have noise,
I will if it pays well enough. But I mean, mine's pretty seamless. It's just beep.
So
but will you though? Because there's so many, you know, just knowing what I know about the bar industry, liquor rules, and all this, I just wouldn't, knowing the gig world for what it is, I wouldn't want to risk my ass in my independent contractor state and think these guys really have my back if anything goes wrong with a liquor transaction and age or anything.
That's why they have insurance. Like the whole delivery is covered by.
That's what
DoorDash's
they all
insurance.
said when they started. And then you get into a
they
problem and
actually
they don't have your back.
Well, but they have insurance for it. Whether they have your back or not, that does not matter. DoorDash's insurance actually is for things of that nature. Like people's like, oh, if I get in a car accident, they're going to cover me. No, they're not. But if something happens during the delivery, their insurance does cover that.
Right.
That's what
but
it's actually
what if
for.
what if it comes down to a younger brother, 2-3 years younger than his brother that's off at college who just turned 21 3 months ago and gave his younger brother his old ID that's still valid for 2 months, and he looks just like him, spot on. You get there, bloom, kid gets drunk, wasted, goes driving. They backtrack the story. They find out, wow, who's this Gary Middleton guy that sold to this kid? And all of a sudden, dude.
And you know who's going to get in trouble for that?
Well,
the older
because
brother.
DoorDash can be like, I don't know why he didn't check the.
Nope.
you see,
It's gonna go back to DoorDash. DoorDash's insurance is gonna fight over it with these people. They're gonna realize that the older brother gave the younger brother the ID, and the older brother is liable.
What if the younger brother's friends were smart and they saw that he used it and they're like, dude, grab the ID so they don't.
Well, at
Okay,
least
so now the
whatever
ID's gone.
But see,
whatever-
I scanned the ID that said the older brother. That's
Right.
all that matters. It doesn't matter
But
once
they'll
it's
be
in
like-
the house. Doesn't matter.
See,
That's
Doesn't
fine.
matter. It's in the house.
See, to me,
But what if
whenever I do
there's
a
no
delivery-
ID and they? Yeah, we'll go ahead, Nova. Yeah, I bet you got.
Whenever I do the
answer.
ID, like I scan it. If it scans and DoorDash tells me it's cool, out of my hands, it's cool. You know, I did
Okay.
one time. This lady gave me a passport, and I typed in the wrong address, and it still went through. So I called support, and they were like, "Oh, just be more careful." Like they were basically scolding me, and I'm like, "I'm just calling you because I don't want to get deactivated for giving them alcohol." They were old enough, but the app let me put in a different date, and it still went through anyways. You know,
Yeah,
but whenever
Yeah,
it's
I'm just being extra careful because I've been in the bar industry. I've owned, I've managed, I've bartended. I've been in it for almost 30 years of my life, and liquor licenses get quite complicated. And like where my employees even are covered gets quite complicated. We're across from the baseball stadium, so sometimes we have this outdoor seating. You're not allowed to drink out there, but you're allowed to go out and have a cigarette, kind of thing, or all this stuff. And like, where does the line get drawn? And there's some like they're very tight about liquor laws, and even liquor delivery from places that used to have like W-2 type liquor delivery people were very, very tight about it. So they were very much on the insurance and the vehicle. So I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
just
here in
something I worry
Virginia,
about. But
it's super strict. And here, the state has their own alcohol stores. They're called ABC stores. So you can't go to Target or Walmart and buy liquor. You have to go to the state-run store to buy the liquor. So whenever I did, they started doing DoorDash, and with them, they're very specific. It has to match on the ID, on the invoice. It can't be someone else. But when I've done DoorDash in the past, they said as long as someone's over 21 and the ID scans, you were good. Then again, that's support telling me something. So do I believe support? Do I not believe support? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
okay, so just
think-
curiosity, I want to propose a scenario real quick. So
Mhm.
my parents go out of town. I'm 18 years old. I want to have a raging party. I want kegs. I want everything. Homeless Joe down the street wants $50. I say, hey man, come over for a minute. I'll make you a burger. I'll give you $50. And I order a ton of Drizzly booze. It shows up. Homeless Joe shows that his ID. It all gets loaded in. And I say, beat it, Homeless Joe. Here's your burger. Here's your $50. Now what?
Drizzly Joe's the one who's got liability.
Exactly.
I would just say, wow.
Well, here's the thing with me. Like whenever I do an alcohol delivery, if you answer the door and you look 12 and you hand me an ID, come on, I'm obviously gonna. But I mean, most of my alcohol deliveries, there's a guy that answers the door that has a beard like me. I mean, sure, he probably could be 18 nowadays. But
I mean, for some of them, they can even actually upload their own ID into the app. So when I get there, all I gotta do is match it, like the photo. Okay, you're you clearly, and then
yeah, I mean, the thing is, the DoorDash app does show you which lines to verify. So
no, I don't do alcohol deliveries. I just
now
I don't
now
think I just don't think that they have my back, first of all. Second of all, for a woman, even at nighttime, delivering alcohol, I just don't feel safe delivering alcohol at nighttime to anybody's house. Just because I just feel like it's a whole huge headache that I just don't want to deal with.
Well, see, that's one thing. I don't do nighttime alcohol deliveries. I don't at all because I don't want to deal with drunk people.
He
Yeah.
just likes day drinkers.
I do. Day drinkers are happy people. Have you ever met a day drinker that was angry? I have not.
Yeah, at nighttime.
Yeah, at nighttime. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, like, I don't think I've had any in Oklahoma, actually. I don't think I've had any alcohol deliveries here. Florida, I get them quite a bit, and it's typically to people that have a pool going, some type of pool party or something like that. So, or next to the beach or something. You know, so it's always happy people though. At nighttime, you get the weird people that want to, you know, you got to take it up their apartments and no.
Yeah. I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Right. And then they're like, "Can you get naked and bring it in?" You're like,
$20
$100 bucks,
$20, $20.
You see, you just learned Gary and my values there.
Yeah.
Gary's like 20. I'm like 100.
Well, yeah, because $20.
We all have
walk it
a
up
price,
naked.
people.
Yeah.
Don't pretend like you're better than us. Don't pretend like you don't. Everything has a price on it. Be honest. Okay, so we talked about the para thing. We kind of talked about the Uber thing, but to be honest, people, go to uberliftdrivers.com. First of all, I would like you guys to go there anyway. I put out a lot of stuff. I recently had an article published too, by the way, if anybody would like to read it. It's on Moves Financial in the blog section on multi-apping. And I'm kind of proud of it.
$20 is $20.
What are you going to do for that $20, Crispy?
He gonna walk it up there naked and drop off the tequila and then go back to his car and put on his clothes.
Watch, he's gonna reply like, "What do you want me to do, Steve?" I like Crispy, man. He's cool.
Yeah.
I never see him anymore. I never see him anymore. And hey, what's up, Marion? I didn't see you there either. How are you? So yeah, I guess we're kind of wrapping it up here. Nova, what do you got going on your channel that people should know about? Or if they don't, by the way, his link is already in the show notes. I'll finish up the show notes, but his link has been there and it's already in there. So if you're not already familiar with his channel, which you probably are, make sure to check out in the show links and check it out, like a video or two. And if you like it, subscribe. But what do you got going on?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's cutting out for me.
Oh no. Let's give him a second. Hopefully he comes back in. We got you back.
Everybody's gonna say it's because of his jersey.
Here, you know what'll fix it? Kill the video and just use the audio.
Yeah. Like hit stop cam at the bottom. Yeah. Now try it.
You got audio?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, no, I think it's my laptop is like at 3%. That's why I'm like, I have to go, and I left my charger at work because I'm not smart.
Perfect. We're wrapping it up, but I wanted to know what you have going on. So why don't you tell us what you like? Tell if nothing specific, just kind of tell us what a week on your creator content channel looks like, so that people can know what you kind of do.
Oh, well, I guess it's what we all do, a little bit different. Just kind of show you guys my day and what I got to go through sometimes to make that money. And I try to make at least $1,000 a week. That's my minimum goal. And if I can do that and get there, it doesn't matter how I get there, as long as we get there, if that makes any sort of sense. And then I do a weekly video of just showing everybody my garbage offers and just do like a little breakdown of like DoorDash being silly and sending me 10, 12 miles away when there's a Wendy's down the road, from the customer's house and things like that. But for the most part, I just, just kind of show you my day.
Drive along style, but edited.
Yeah.
Sometimes live. I saw you live.
Yeah. I mean, I think going live is a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work. It's not as easy as one would think it is. But I definitely do. I think it's, it's ways that people can relate to what we do,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like it. I absolutely. You got a good energy. Whenever I do get time, I try and check out people's videos. But there's so many people that I feel like I just go knock out a couple here and there of one. And luckily, whenever we have a guest coming up, I always do like to spend. It gives me a little time to focus on them for a couple days and watching their videos before they come on, so I kind of get refreshed and learn a little bit more. So that's always a nice part for me anyway about having guests, and stoked that you were able to join us tonight, and we'd love to have you back sometime.
I mean, if anything, I feel like I made it. You guys are like the OGs, kind of, to me at least. Like I've been watching Kim for a long time, even though we never like interacted like that. I support Gary, $10 a month.
Yeah, no, I know that. I know Gary.
Definitely like that.
So it's funny. Once I forgot to like enable autopay, and I'm like, why am I watching all these ads? Or like on the app, and I'm like, what's going on over here? And then I realized it was my fault for not autopay.
See, I told you they always forget to enable that auto pay.
Hey, but Gary does have good customer service. Though the one time I needed his help, he got back to me on Facebook real quick.
See, and if I know I will challenge anybody in this chat. Nobody has ever had the issue with Gary, nor even heard of it. And if you say you have, you're lying. That Gary did not get right back to you. I have never heard anything but amazing stories about how quick Gary is getting back to you. And I know
you didn't
personally.
Get back to my text tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I'm surprised he didn't reply to Kim.
Well, there goes Kim.
You know what? 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
That's a long time. 7 minutes.
I guess I'm just not that special.
But I did reply to her text. Go check
after
the text.
I put it in the chat.
Well, you know what? Did you get customer support or not? Yes or no? Did you get the support?
Man. No, but if anything, Steve, thank you for having me. I always, whenever you do a live, I do always check it out for sure. Because you guys are awesome.
I've been seeing you come through, and we love it, man. We always love people having questions too. And by the way, guys, I'm trying to figure out a new system where, like, if you do have a question for us, because I know you guys love chatting, and I don't mind, but when I look over, it would be awesome if we could find a system where I knew it was a question for us, like a capital Q maybe, or a question mark first, and then put something, and I'll know, okay, that's for us.
What a lot of people do is put the question mark before your actual question, like start it with a question mark, and then
like I'm looking right now, I don't see any, but
well,
I saw some things that I think were related
like
to us.
If you do it like this. What? Like if we did it like that,
Steve. No, Thomas, you got to put the question mark before the question.
Before
like there, Thomas. If you do that,
like mine, see,
this
you got to do. You got to do it like this,
Thomas. Right?
You got to do it like
Thomas,
that.
This is not a question. This is a question. And unless you do it that way, I won't know.
Oh, wow, Gary, you went there.
I told somebody earlier, I'm on here to pick on Steve. That is my one job only.
And by the way, yes, I'm gonna say it one more time. I got my hair cut.
Hey, I actually made him change.
The first thing Gary said was, "Man, you look old."
I made him change his shirt for you people too.
He did. I did. All right. Well, Nova Dasher, it's been awesome having you on, for real. It's always just fun for us to have new people, new markets, and just kind of talk what's going on gig that week. Everybody, go find a way to watch Super Pumped, even if you got to bootleg it.
No, you don't have to. You get a 30-day trial from Showtime.
What if you do?
30-day free trial. I'm gonna watch it. As soon as I get to work, I'm gonna watch it.
And if you already used a 30-day trial and there's just no other way, there's always another way.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to be it for us. And we will see you back here next week. We got 2 weeks where I don't have it locked up who's who. And then Gary even confused me more because we're supposed to have Zach Drives Fast in August. And he seems confused on our rescheduled dates. So,
hey, Steve,
I got to get everything locked.
If you ever need a sub, let me know. I can always sub in if needed,
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, and we should throw this out there that on the 28th we'll be all be getting ready to go to the gig conference except for Kim and Hannibal. So we're not sure what we're doing on that date just yet. But I believe we are going to try to do something.
Yeah, I'll get Kim, the CEO of DoorDash.
Ooh, Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let Tony and Kim. I'll tell Tony it's a date, and I'll tell Kim that it's Tony, and I'll let her like go at him.
So Tony, what was your first reaction to losing $42 million on Thursday?
I mean, oh my God. See, what really bums me out is what would have been cool. I know he's down. I know he's like making some changes right now in a big way, but it's a bummer that Joe's not around, because I would have scheduled Joe to be Tony and come on, because not only does he do it well, but he makes it look really funny. So it could have been a funny week of having Joe be Tony.
And
Dark Road Run.
Thomas, I have to be here.
Dark Road Run.
I have admin, so you got to put up with me too.
Yeah. The Kim and Hannibal show. Yeah, it's the Kim and Hannibal.
Well, I at least got to pop in and hit live, and I got to pop in and hit end broadcast.
Just call it the two-tooth pulled COVID crew, because it's the same crew that did that when I had my teeth pulled and had COVID.
Yeah.
The COVID.
I don't like
crew.
that name. I can remove it if you want. I can remove Steve.
All right, guys. As always, thank you for joining us. I love Thursdays. I love having Sundays too, but awesome. Nova, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And it looks like we did that perfectly, because Nova's laptop's about to die. Perfect timing. And good night, folks. We'll see you back here next Thursday.